Constructors' Championship. Only 14 points separating the two. The Williams, Mercedes and Aston Martin. Aramco, Mercedes as well. Both Mercedes powered card, but are going to be fighting for the Constructors' title. Only 14 points away, with Racing Bulls 41 points away as well. So anything to play for. So considering, let's now have a look at the track. So now considering, let's actually get this on this side so it's a little bit more visible. And that is great. So yeah, considering two Aston Martins, or in fact, yes, two Aston Martins in the session, only one one Williams, so it's 2 versus 1, but depends, can Cook and Mamba together outrun Leo in terms of points today? Sure, the Constructors' title's over, man, you've got it. Sorry, the Driver's title's over, you've got it, take it, and let us go the way we want to go, and simply let us enjoy as well, you know, a Constructors' title in the end. What about Special in the Haas? Will be the first driver of the line, in fact, was invalidated and will not be the driver over the line at all. There's others behind out there as well, as it could be the 2 RB drivers of Paver and Ben. Ben is on an outlap. Paver has invalidated his lap, so that is not going to be meaning at all. What about Liam? Another driver, but he has not invalidated his lap. And around the final corner now, it is going to be the benchmark time to beat, 1:10.263. Everyone around will need to beat as well. MP would now be starting their flying lap. What about the two Alpine drivers? Joker's a little bit behind, but his teammate William at the moment is going to be just making his way around the final lap over the line now. 1:11.1. Remember, this is a sprint weekend, so it's double points up for grabs. It's double points, not once but twice. Drivers will get an opportunity to score points as Joker goes P2, 1:10.4 from him. Another car ahead of the Red Bull. And that's Leo goes P2 onto the front row. Eri is just going to be starting the flying lap. So yeah, basically what I was talking about, as Eve is going to go over the line as well, P4. It's a sprint weekend, so short qualifying, obviously. The 8 minutes we got remaining, it's going to be that. And then 12 minutes of racing for the sprint. Then again, as normal as it gets, 18 minutes of qualifying and full 50% racing. It's, I think, 35 laps of the Canadian GP that it normally is. It's going to be something like that, as Ben currently now moves up to P5. What about MP? There's a car ahead of him, but MP is going to be Paver. Goes P4. Paver's through it. Can MP power through it? No, he can't. He's on an invalidated lap, so nothing will be adding up to it at all. What about Special? He's not on a flying lap as well. Then comes the Alpine of William into the pits. And the Ferrari of Liam still on pole position, still the fastest car out in the session so far. Obviously, this is for the sprint races, remember. But look at this. It's going to be Harvey then around the final corner in the finish line now. The only kickstarter in the session goes up to P7. Only second slowest time of the session. What about the Ferrari of Liam? Does he improve on his time? No, he's not on a flying lap at all, so does not really do much at all. And there we go, that is nice and easy at the moment. So we are live, so that is a great situation. There we go, then we should be back into it. My mic slightly got slapped out of its position, so hopefully it should be all okay and back where it is supposed to be. And there we go. So now looking at this, everybody around, I mean, Liam's going to get slowed down to maybe let others get past, or not quite sure what he's waiting for, but others behind are pretty away from him. What about Eri at the moment? He's back into racing after the Brazilian GP, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in a while. Around the final corner he comes now, doesn't invalidate it, nearly hits the wall of champions there, but just comes out of it unscathed and over the finish line. Goes P3 onto the second row of the grid as Leo's fitted up soft tires. That is interesting. So 5 minutes remaining. Obviously this is, they should get all 3 compound tires for the sprint, obviously, which is usually it's the hard, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in SQ1, and SQ2 it's the medium, and SQ3 it is the soft compound tire that drivers get, but only 1 set. So only 3 overall set these drivers will have medium and the soft compound tyre to use. Meanwhile, the Cooks Aston Martin goes around. The two Aston drivers will be feeling a bit of pressure. They have to fight for the constructors title this weekend. Only 14 points away from Williams, who they do have two cars. Sorry about that, then I must have missed, but Leo has been the competitive one. You know, Aston Martin, sure, Sprint is there. If he only 15 drivers, so he surely has got the opportunity, you know, an absolute opportunity to really give it all and not come out as syllabus, but definitely do the job that he needs to do so far. So definitely that's going to be, you know, brilliant one to say the least. But let's see, can he do it though? Because last weekend it was decent, but not too good of a weekend from Sprint in terms of too many points. But obviously I think it'll be interesting still. 2 versus 2 it is, not 1 versus 1, so that's going to be something to look at for all of us. Where is Cook going to be putting his car? Does he at least challenge? Does he at least put that pressure mentally on those Williams drivers? Yes, he does. Goes pole and goes fastest in the session so far. 109.990. Might just be track evolution, might just be the track improving overall, but that at least is a statement for now as he gets pole position. What about his teammate Mamba, who is on a set of soft compound tires? Does he get any closer? No, he can't. Only good enough for P7. And that explains then it kind of evens out. Sure, Mamba slightly, you would say, in a better position than Sprint overall, but if competitiveness is concerned and overall, you know, you talk about drivers being competitive, you know, a number 1 driver from both the teams, it has to be Cook from Aston Martin, and then Leo for Williams. So that is an interesting thing to see overall. But let's see. So far, 12 drivers have got a time on board. 3 are remaining as it stands. Is it going to be the Aston or the Ferrari of Liam on an outlap at the moment on a set of medium tires? So he hasn't used a set of soft, possibly saving that soft for the race, which could be a thing as well. Obviously they have to use you know, set of tires for the race as well, so management and everything has to be managed around, and it has to be the case. So let's see how it goes. Now, so everything's 3 drivers waiting to do a lap time on board. Sprint, Hay, and then MP, but all 3 are in the pit lane at the moment as it stands. Not yet out of it, not yet there to do a lap time. Not a lot now remains in qualifying. Joker on an invalidated lap as it stands. So many drivers, just 2 minutes now remain. Only 3 on a flying lap, but they will be now looking forward to see how good they can do. What about Liam and the end of that middle sector? 1 to almost 2.8 tenths. He's improving by. What about Williams? And where is Williams? He's not improving at all. He's slowing down, slowly going around, and definitely he's either slowing down, treating it as a prep lap, and over the line he's going to be starting his flying lap one more time. But Liam, it has to be. He was the one to set the time first ahead of everyone before. Will he do it again to take pole? Yes, he can. 109.839, and that's going to be the time to beat for everyone for pole position. Cook did it on a set of mediums, but now he's out on a set of softs. Can he get through the line? This is very close now, about a minute just remains, so this is going to be very crucial. Look at that, he's driving very fast already, otherwise he would take it slow, but it's very risky whether he could make it to the line or not. He lets the other RB ahead of him behind to get past, but this has to be very risky for sure overall, because this could either make or break for you overall. It is going to be Eve in the McLaren over the finish line, does improve by over 7 tenths. But not by much, and he might have invalidated into the final corner by the looks of it, so not quite sure about it, but that might indeed be the case, as many drivers are now going over the line and starting their flying laps, and Leo is one of them. Meanwhile, Sprint hasn't came out of the pits. That means he's not going to be getting a lap in at all, and whoever is going to be going over the line now will be their one. Either they got to come and take the checkered flag, or will be their final chance overall to start a lap, because otherwise you will not get that chance at all. And looking at this so far, is it going to be the RB or Power? And it will be, as he powers through the pole position and takes Sprint pole so far. 8:15, and Airy does it even better. 8:13, and what a lap that is. Only 2,000 of a second he's going to be doing by, and a brilliant lap from the Red Bull driver there. 109.813 after a 109.815, and what a brilliant lap that has to be, unless it gets beaten by anybody else. MP is one of them. He's invalidated his lap, so nothing's going to be happening. Meanwhile, Ben is into the wall. Eve is coming into the pit lane. There's going to be in Mercedes. It will be of MP over the line, but he's invalidated, so he will not be. He'll only be taking the checkered flag. What about Harvey in that Sauber, taking the drive on that soft compound tire? P10 for him. Are we going to be looking at the Williams of Leo, our world champion, and he gets the lap done in the end. A world championship lap. Remember, the Drivers' Championship might be over, but the Constructors is not, so they're still fighting for it, still fighting with it, and they'll be after taking it, because if they can, that'll be an absolute boost in the end. What about Cook on the soft compound tire? In the end, he does it as HB Cook gets the job done for Aston Martin, and brilliantly done for Cook out there. 109.550 has to be the pole position time, as Airy now will be coming into the pit lane, and brilliantly job done for Cook out there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your sprint qualifying over, and now time for 12 laps of racing in the sprint. Let's get it then, as we are around here at the moment. We are looking at things considering sprint qualifying over. Time for the sprint race will be interesting to get things going and for us to get started. This is your grid then, ladies and gentlemen. Only 12 drivers could get a time in the end. Hey, and Sprint F1 along with MP couldn't get a time on board, so invalidating their laps overall. Mix of tire compounds, soft tires, medium tires, everybody choosing what they like. So HB takes sprint pole so far with Leo in the end, a 10th down, but I think he did the lap last. He did the lap at the very last moment, and sometimes these plannings could, I don't think they go against you really, but it's the kind of things that they could go good for you or not really work out for you at all. As look at that beautiful pit lane and nice glass graphics, actually, the reflection from the glass. And now we're getting ready for the sprint race, and it has to be brilliant. It's cloudy overall. Look at that. It's all cloudy around, so definitely a thing to look at. And before we get started, let's have a look at one more look at the Constructors title. 190 points for Williams and 176 for Aston Martin, and it is going to be a fight to fight for, and definitely calculations will have to be done towards the very end of it. So at the moment, we'll just need to remember how many points as a team does Aston Martin take or does Williams take. It is not going to be a formation lap for the sprint. It's going to be 5 lights out, and we go racing for the sprint in the Canadian Grand Prix. It's going to be a decent start for Cook. In fact, it's going to be a brilliant start for Leo around the outside and gets the job done. Cook's in a bit more pressure as Airy's going to try and come back at him, as now Airy's going to be going side by side with Power, but through up into P3, takes it up into him for himself and gets the job done so far. But for how long it's going to be the case? Airy, as everybody started on a set of mediums, 3 on the set of hards, and everybody else on a set of medium compound tires. So that is going to be a job done, as interestingly, so it should be no pit stop from these drivers. 12 laps of racing only, so they should get on these tires. Meanwhile, Joker is going to be able to get through. He's going to be trying to get through. Is there going to be cars attacking him? No, but Howie is going to be attacking special, and he needs to get a special move down there, and he does get it so far. I don't know why I muted my mic, but meanwhile we need some improvement, not a muted mic, but rather an open mic that needs, and progresses through. A special's going to be through Ben there. He lost out to Harvey, but he wasn't going to let Ben get through. Meanwhile, there's yellow flag at the back, but can Ben come back at him on the inside line? For a moment, you'd think he'd think for it into the final corner, but no, the Wall of Champions is very punishing, as there's going to be Hayoi. Around the outside he goes. Absolutely brilliant. That was almost like Alex Albon from a few years ago at the Canadian Grand Prix on Daniel Ricciardo. What a move that was into the chicane of the Wall of Champions, and goes for it around the outside. Gets the job done now, and already it's the sprint, and drivers are certainly treating it like one so far. Brilliantly done, and they're overtaking after one another. So as it stands, Williams as Leo's taking that lead obviously from Cook, so Williams is going to be getting 8 points. That's going to be 22 points overall to add, but then 7 points okay, so 7 points actually gonna be in the end taken by Cook, so that's going to be about 7 points remaining, but then 8 again will be added to it, so 15 points still. Williams will lead the Constructors' Championship by, unless Mamba could gain a few positions and get himself into the top 8, which obviously is the position, and it's a place where drivers score points in the sprint from P1 to P8. Meanwhile, one man's going to be through as Harvey overtakes and gets past Joker there. And at the back, it's going to be Special. And Ben still going at it for them. They're still going to be side by side. Wheel-to-wheel action between the two. He almost goes for a switch out there, switch in there. Can he go for it? No, he can't. As from Unyuko, he's going to go for the switcheroo. Outside to the inside or inside to the outside, but not yet, or just not yet able to do it at the moment. 3 laps in out of 12 already, so that is going to be interesting. I think drivers would rather be treating this as a more of a sprint race indeed, but in the end just the main race will be, I don't think it will be a slow start. Drivers would still be going for it, but definitely strategy and everything will come into play in that one. And in this one, obviously only 12 laps, so you don't really need to worry about much. You don't really need to worry about pretty much anything in the end. Meanwhile, these two are still going for it, and side by side, these two, once more, Special's going to be ahead and out there. Meanwhile, at the lead and at the front, it has been Cook has overtaken Leo, and Cook now leads the Canadian sprint. So far, at least on lap 3 out of 12, he's taken it. Will it be taken back from him? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, Ari in the Red Bull's going to go for it. On the inside line, they make contact. He sends it in there. Does not wait for anything. This is going to be Will to Will, who's going to be coming out on top of it. Is it going to be the Williams getting better exit? Is it going to be the Red Bull? It has going to be the Williams there on the inside line, as the Red Bull nearly goes onto the wall on the exit there. That could have went both ways, but in the end, the Leo, the world champion, drivers world champion of this season, takes it there. And brilliantly done from him, and I think it's the championship is over a race early, even in a 10 race championship. 10 race, the 10 races season championship saves for itself, as Leo has been overtaken from the lead. 1.6 seconds now, so Cook in free air might just give him enough chance. I think in the free air he might just have enough to get, and now I think 4 laps on those hard mediums versus hards would have been the case as well. Meanwhile, Power is now going to overtake Ari, and as Eric Root is out there. Meanwhile, Ben is losing out positions. He crashed out in qualifying. Has he done it in the race as well? He spun round and facing the wrong way for a moment, but gets back on it and comes back out on the track so far. But for how long he's going to be keeping it on track, as Liam has retired. Liam's retired. I wonder if he's retired in the pit lane, or he's made contact with the wall and might have just found himself near the Wall of Champions. Not quite sure what exactly has happened, but that could eventually, here and there, you could think about, what is exactly going on and what might just, what would have happened for him out there. So that is job well done out there. Meanwhile, one man is going to be doing the job, and that's going to be Sprint, who's going to be trying to get past Power. Oh, what has happened there? What exactly happened? Power was in P3, remember, just overtaking Ari. and he now finds himself in P11. That is not the best thing you would have hoped for, yeah, rather he would have wanted, as now both RB drivers find themselves in P11 and 12. That is a bit of a degrade, you'd have to say, for sure. And that, ladies and gentlemen, as he's going to come into the pits, Paver, I wonder if he's going to get a set of new tyres and repair the damage of front wing if he has, or he's going to simply retire out of this one, which it'll be interesting to see what does he really do. He might be retiring in the car, or in fact, no, he's getting the front wing changed. Does my mic need a bit of an increasing of audio? Actually, I think they slightly might need to increase the mic audio, because I slightly altered the game audio so it's not overrunning the overrunning the mic. But right now I'm not sure how much of game audio will be heard, but I think as the mic should be heard nicely and easy, so we're going to do that. Meanwhile, racing back, jumping back onto the racing action. There's going to be the McLaren of Hay, and he might have made contact with the wall, because surely I almost nearly saw him facing the other way around. Meanwhile, Mamba and Harvey are going to be going for it, as Mamba's nearly sent it on the inside line. He needs to know, he knows that what he's fighting for, but Harvey's going to come back at him. He's not going to leave him behind at all. Both of them on a set of medium tires. He's going to send it on the inside. Mamba's going to be through and getting past him there. P6 for Mamba there. That's going to be 2 points, or 2 extra points for Aston Martin, and that's going to be 10 points overall. That is going to be brilliant, but then on those 4 points, again, 7 will be added from Leo, so that means Aston Martin in the end will have about 14 points lead they had at the moment. Williams is so we're going to be looking at this 8 points. Obviously, I mean, the Constructors' title is going to be a long wait. It's not going to be yet over. Obviously, the main race we will have to wait for in the end. That's for sure. You definitely have to wait for that, as there's a little bit of a train here out at these points, as that is going to be interesting to see. All right, perfect. So that is a great thing to know. At least we've got confirmation about audio and everything is okay. Basically, I don't know why, but on my phone, maybe my phone speakers are not that good, but eventually I was thinking that the mic or the game audio was overlapping the commentary, but that's great that if it's not. So that is perfect to say the least, as we're going to focus on this one right now, but the gaps are increasing. Apart from this one, though, this little battle is still on with Mamba in P7. That is going to be, as there's going to be an opportunity for Harvey to go for it. Yes, he will, but Special's going to come back at him. These two have fought throughout the race brilliantly, as they've got the job done, but absolutely brilliant so far. But again, he's going to go for it on the inside line. Is there going to be an opportunity for Harvey to come back at him? No, now he's going to lose it to Hay as well. There's going to be even more trouble for Special there. In fact, no, as Hay now loses it out there with opportunities to others around. So 11 points, Aston Martin still would lead the championship. Williams would lead with my calculations. Meanwhile, Hay was going to go for it on the inside line, makes contact with the wall, but comes back unscathed. But there's going to be an opportunity to Harvey to come back at it again, and once more he's going to be doing it. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Is it going to be the Aston Martin or the McLaren? It has to be the McLaren around the outside, and gets the job well done so far. Brilliantly done from the McLaren, at least for the moment, and he does it nice and easy. Job is done, and brilliantly from the McLaren driver so far. As let's actually increase the bit rate a little bit to just see how it performs. Hopefully it's going to be good one. Basically at about 3,500, so now to see whether if it improves. But if it hopefully not. It's working like a charm tonight, my internet, so let's not jinx it, and hope for the best throughout the qualifying and then main race as well. That's going to be interesting. Obviously this is sprint, so Apologies if you think I'm a little bit calmed down, then you probably know me, or rather not much focus. Obviously, focus is on. Focus is indeed isn't going to be going anywhere, but then, you know, basically main race and a whole qualifying session is remaining, so you'd rather want to focus on that. So at the moment, 10 laps in out of 12. Cook now leads the sprint by over 12, sorry, but yes, by over 2 seconds, 2.1 seconds to Leo in P2. Brilliantly done so far. Ari 5.5 behind Leo, but in P3, 1.3 ahead of the next car of him. Joker in P5, MP in P6, Mamba P7, scoring good, important points for Aston Martin. Special in P8 with Hay, P9, then comes Harvey in P10, followed by Ben, Eve, and Sprint, and then Power in P14 with Liam, the only retiree out of this race. So a lot of drivers with penalties out there. That is interesting. So one driver, Power, on the set of soft tires, along with the Cook, MP, and Ben on a set of hards, everyone else on a set of mediums. So penalties, interesting. Only the top 3 don't have a penalty, and then the bottom 2 don't have a penalty. Every single one of them. Everyone else does have a time penalty. 3 seconds from William to Special, all the way from P4 to P8. 3 seconds, then 9 seconds to Hay, 6 seconds to Harvey, then again 3 seconds to Eve and Ben in the end. So that is interesting. Only one driver opting for a pit stop in the end as well, and 9 positions. Remember, MP has gained in this sprint out there, so that is interesting bit of positions as well. Meanwhile, Ben is going to be fighting and is going to be racing Harvey there. These two have fought each other for a long while, and they're going to be doing it once more, and brilliantly done so far, as they are going to be doing it indeed. So now not a lot, obviously still this little battle is on in the end. Obviously Special, and now Special and Mamba is there. Special's gained a couple of positions. Now that is definitely interesting, because Mamba might just be in a bit of pressure from Special out there, because you have to say Special is driving indeed like a Special one out there for sure, because he's doing a pretty good job so far as it stands. Has had a couple of battles, and he's been in there, in and out of it, but pretty much with these drivers, he's going to be through. They're going to be side by side, and he's going to snatch that point away from Aston Martin, and that constructors deficit, which was in fact 11 points, is now going to be over and about in the 10 or 12 points for Aston Martin to Williams. As on top of that, Leo has got a penalty. Leo's got a time penalty, but if it's 3 seconds, it's not going to be much. Yes, it won't be, as Eri is 7.8 seconds behind him. So that is not going to be enough for him to be challenged for it at all. And in the end, that means that is going to be a P2 secured and 7 points for the Williams team. We will need to remember this though, as Cook is going to be now just coming around the final straight to go, around the final chicane, and the wall of champions to go, around the final corner now. It is going to be Aston Martin's Cook. He's going to win the sprint here in Canada. It's going to be Leo in P2. Well done to him as well, your champion, your driver's champion, who's already champion out there, but still going to be fighting for the Constructors' Championship, as Eri comes in P3, then followed by the duo of William and Joker. It's going to be MP over the line, taking the checkered flag. Special in the end, just about finishes ahead of Mamba in P7, gets the job done, and brilliantly done by him so far, as now everyone is going to be taking the checkered flag, as Ben is in the middle of the road, but he's taking the checkered flag as well, so not much really matters. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the end, and it is going to be the end of the Grand Prix here. Sorry, not the Grand Prix, but obviously the sprint here at the Canadian GP, and these are your results from Canada, from the sprint race, ladies and gentlemen. Cook in P1 gets 8 points to himself. Leo in P2 with 7 points. Then Eri, Williams, Joker, MP, Special, and Mamba complete out the top 8 that score points. Those who don't score are Ben, Eve, Hay, Harway, Sprint, Paver, and then comes Liam, the 2 that retired out of this race. 13 finished, and only 8 scored. And now it is time for short qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, which is going to be 18 minutes as well, so nearly 20 minutes. You could spare off, obviously, it's not going to be 20 minutes of qualifying session, but then here and there a few minutes, and then obviously the race that we will do, which will be 35 laps. Look at that, 12 laps of racing, and there was some great battles between these drivers, so definitely make sure to stay here, make sure to grab some popcorn and really get your snacks ready, as the main race is yet to happen, and it's going to be even better, and the more fun there is going to be, the better it is. Obviously, the more laps there are, the more fun it is going to be out there, as we'll now just wait for any of the drivers to come out on track and for us to have a look at them racing. I doubt that anybody now would come out on a set of soft tires out here. Oh, sorry, on a set of mediums. Obviously, as we just say that, Ari in the garage is on a set of mediums. Possibly, they can use. It's not impossible that they won't, but it's just because, they would have enough set of soft tires to use in this qualifying session. They wouldn't prefer to. It depends from driver to driver, but majority should be on the set of soft tires without any problems. Oh, sorry, yes, on the soft tires indeed. During qualifying, you might see me taking a few breaks here and there. Obviously, the sprint race was a pretty nice one to focus on as well, as we already have a driver out here on a flying lap, so that's going to be interesting to see and have a look at. But so 15 minutes, obviously drivers are just coming out on track, and I think Hay has to be the first driver on a flying lap out at the moment. There is Eri, but they've just, sorry, not an out lap on a flying lap. Eri is there, but he's just starting his flying lap, so I think Hay has to be the one, and he was one of the drivers who couldn't set up a lap time at the sprint, in the sprint race, remember, so he has to be setting up a time. He's only got the final chicane to go. I think it's a very tricky corner, that chicane itself, because obviously that if there is a proper chance of invalidating the lap around there. He doesn't quite do it and gets the job done so far, and over the finish line, 1:10.438. Now, it might not be one of the competitive times, but still a time on board, and has something to fight for, as now the next car is going to be Harvey out at the moment, coming over the line, and that's going to be 1:11.2, and if these are the times to go by, definitely that 1:10.4, it's very competitive, but obviously meant there's going to be drivers coming over the line, as Joker has invalidated his lap. What about Eri in that Red Bull, out on a set of mediums, one of the two drivers out on a set of mediums, and he goes fastest so far and gets the job done. 1:10.044, brilliantly done from Eri there. So at the moment, I think posting a faster time, being on the medium tire, has to be something about that. There is pace out on track, and there is speed on the racetrack. That obviously, that on the circuit, everyone wants to get out there, as there's going to be times, and it is going to be Cook, the man who took pole position for the sprint, is going to go on to pole here in this main race, qualifying as well in the end. 109.815, 109.813 was the fastest time as far as I remember for the main race, and it is only 2,000 of a second it was separating the top two as well, so that is definitely going to be interesting to say the least. Meanwhile, William is going to be there, his teammate, without a time, but he is going to be with a time. Oh, in fact, no, he's going to be without a time as well, invalidated. I wonder if he invalidated on the final corner exit, because I don't think he had. I don't think we saw that red minimap before that. So it's interesting as Ben now goes B4, but only second slowest time of the session so far. And the only Haas in the session has to be specials, and he's without a time. But he's going. In fact, he's going to be just starting a flying lap, so he's not going to be with a time just about yet. As Mamba is on a flying lap, as on an out lap as well. The next man who is going to be on a flying lap, it is going to be Joker. One man on that medium compound tire is on the front row. Where does the other man on a set of medium compound tires go? He's going to be going on to P3, just behind Eri. So that is interesting, putting up faster time than the three drivers on a set of soft compound tires. Is going to be somewhat of a confidence. And Leo now on a set of, oh, that is interestingly invalidated. But it wouldn't have been fast as well, 110.6, so that would have been still a lot for him to work for, and that sums out he wouldn't have been very quick. What about MP? He'll be looking for a lap time as well. He was one of the drivers again, and he invalidates into the chicane, and that is exactly what we were talking about, that this is a very tricky corner and you need to nail it, because you could nail the whole lap, but that final corner in the end ends up really in the end. Definitely that final corner is not one of the best at all to really help you keep a lap well in, and I think now he would know. I mean, nobody more than him can knew, obviously one of the few drivers who couldn't get a lap time in the end. He was the one getting laps, getting a very good lap for the rest of the circuit, getting a very good, decent lap throughout the rest of the session, but obviously the final corner that matters the most is what you need to nail, and unfortunately it wasn't to be for him this time around. As Mamba now gets a job done. Mamba does a lap time decent enough, at least to get closer to his teammate, 110.3 as it stands. Now, it's interesting to say the least. So far, obviously 10 minutes still remain. We're not even at the halfway mark. I mean, what about Liam, though, the man who got retired out of the sprint? He's going to go on to the front row, and what a lap that is, and what an effort from Liam out there. He did a decent effort in the sprint qualifying session as well, but gets a job done even better this time around. He's going to take not going to take pole, but obviously onto the front row, and definitely that is going to get the job done so far. So well done to the man out there, and he's getting it done as it stands. Liam, obviously, so that is interesting from him out there. Goes on to the front row. Eri in P3, 110.0 from him. So there's going to be a couple of drivers and multiple drivers lap after lap, minute after minute, coming around, especially. He's not going to be improving on his time as it stands. He hits the wall and gets out of the way, and that explains that he wouldn't have really been doing enough to get himself a new lap time, as William is on a out lap. What about the Eve in that McLaren is on an out lap as well, as Power in that RB is not going to be on a out lap. He retired out of the sprint. Can he recover it? No, he can't, at least not right now, as he's on 122.8, so one lap on these soft tires, so definitely that could well be a prep lap, and just preparing for the best, preparing for an opportunity to really get in the end, and I think that's very nice and easy. So now we are done, as it's not done, obviously, still 7 minutes remaining. Meanwhile, William goes on to the front row and gets the job done so far. Brilliantly done from him as well, and definitely gets in a statement out there that whoever puts a faster time or a very good time, keep improving. Otherwise, I could come at the door and I'll be knocking on the front row, as Cook is already out and about on the flying lap, and will be looking on his way to get started for a flying lap. Obviously over 7 minutes remaining, so this will potentially be the second stint, and the third stint would come on later on in the session. What about MP so far? He again has kept it validated lap, but he's going to get out of the way of Leo, who's on a flying lap. He couldn't get a valid lap earlier on. What about this time around? He just gets it enough around the final corner, validates it, and over the finish line. Is it going to be fast enough? Yes, it will be. Nearly 2:10s he laps by, and what a lap is. And I think, yes, now I remember, that wasn't the fastest time. Fastest time was 109.6. It was still by Cook though, but it was 109.6, and brilliantly done from Leo this time around, unless anybody else could beat it. Nice and easy. So far, he seems to be the driver. He seems to be the one that is going to be taking the job for the moment, and Cook will need to improve, and he's not improving at all. He's invalidated once more, and one more time he'll need to work hard, as he's invalidated not once but twice, I'd say. A previous one was an out lap, so you could say that he would have rather treated this as a prep lap, and now getting ready for a flying lap. That could well be interesting as well, as 10.087 from Power out there it is. Now time for Liam in the Ferrari to try and get a time, try and get a nice and easy time as well. So it's going to be interesting to say, with obviously the Constructors' title still up for grabs as well. Let's not forget about that, ladies and gentlemen. The Driver's title, Leo is your champion and is over a race away, but that Constructors' Championship is on, and one man is coming in between those. Is going to be Eri in that Red Bull. I wonder if he's a reserve driver, because previous races I remember he is for Mercedes, so now in the Red Bull, putting up onto the front row, pretty close to a pole sitting time as well. Pushes Cook down. He's not improving at all, and Cook is not indeed finding a time, at least in that middle sector. Let's see how good of a time is that going to be overall, and that explains a lot. He's going to head into the pit lane straight away, and sure, with that we could know that he's not improving at all, and that has to be the reason. He's coming into the pit lane. Meanwhile, Hay is going to be into the pits as well, as we're going to be looking at things. Power is going to be there, so will be Liam. Both are going slowly. One wants to let the other get past. The other wants the other to get past. So that is now interesting to see, with the amount of laps and time remaining in qualifying is not much. So pretty much whoever goes in right now should well be staying in there for a few minutes, and then come out for their final run and their final stint out on track, that's for sure. Special, who had a very decent and eventful sprint race, is definitely looking for an improvement and a time that gets him better, and that does at least get him one better than P11, and that is going to be him into P10 so far. So 110.463, but he did improve by quite a bit. He 1/10, and he'll be over into P9 again, so a little bit more, he'll be into P8. He needs to, I think he's worked his way up nice and easy, improving slowly, one by one, and that is a step-by-step job gets you done. Meanwhile, Hay is going to be on a flying lap. In fact, no, he will not be on a flying lap. That is interesting because it shows he's on a flying lap. There's a McLaren out on track as well, but that isn't by Eve. It is not Hay, and that explains why we were not able to hover over him. There we go then. Now 3 minutes only remain, and 3 minutes spare these drivers from one another, and these could be their final and last chances overall to get a lap in and to really get a performance in the end around here. It is lap 2 minutes remain in this qualifying session, so pretty much if you're out on track right now, it won't be, you'd rather maybe just enough you can go in and then come out with the new tires, but you can't really do, what you can't really do is do a lap right now, come after start a lap right now, complete it, and then again go into the pits and try and change tires to come out again. Which is going to be a bit risky, so I think now you might as well see whoever in these 2 minutes come out on track should stay out on track, otherwise go in and not come back. What about MP there? He got a lap in finally, at least a time on board for him. That would have at least given him somewhat confidence, and look at that, he's slowing down, he's literally slowing down, he's slowing very, I wonder if that was on purpose or something, but definitely it looked like he slowed pretty much very much down, because okay, there we go. Otherwise, then now he's going to be getting the lap in, and surely that explains why did he slow down, and he will now be getting the lap in towards the end there, as there is a couple of drivers now coming over the line, some starting their laps, some getting to the end of their laps, and it has to be these drivers. A Special has retired from the session. I wonder if he's done it on track or into the pit lane. Might have done it in the pits though, but he's out of it. Eve, well, then the McLaren nearly hits the wall of champions on the exit, improving by 5 seconds. He needs 8 seconds minimum, and he does get over 8 seconds. It's going to go on to P3 and the second row of the grid, and what a lap time from Eve that was. Brilliantly done so far. Meanwhile, Joker 7 seconds down, so a minute now remains. If you complete your lap, that's pretty much going to be it for you. If you start your lap, that is also going to be an end for you as well, as Ari at the moment on an out lap. Mercedes of MP will be on a flying lap, and he only needs an opportunity. Nearly hits the wall there, and finally over the finish line. He'll get an opportunity, and he'll not take it with both hands. He'd rather just will push it and get himself a lap time of 1:10.1, but I think definitely multiple invalidations would have played with his confidence, and that is reflecting, as he could only put a time good enough for P9 and not able to really put a very good time, considering that final corner did have him around, as Villian now spuns round. That is going to be a bit of problems for them, as many drivers are starting their laps. What about Joker? He's improving by 2 cents, as we're going to see who's in. Okay, that is Power, and that should be Hay out there. Meanwhile, if we lost out the men we should be looking at is going to be Joker over the finish line, goes on to the front row, pushes a lot of others down. It's going to be Eve now coming around the final corner, as Power, I wonder if Power improved. No, he didn't. Hay at the moment on a different part of the circuit as it stands. Eri in P3 at the moment. Eve has retired around the final chicane now. It's through the wall of champions around the finish line. over the finish line now, and that's going to be fastest time of the session from Eri there, 109.537. That's the fastest time of the session we've had so far, and Cook beats it nice and easy, 105.16, 109.516, and gets the job done, unless he could be beaten by, though, as Leo's slowing down, so he's not going to be getting the job done. What about Liam? He's going to be the driver, and he has the opportunity to get pole position and beat everyone around the final finish line now. Only P3. He just falls short and unable to do so, and that is 2 pole position after a sprint pole position, and to top it off, Cook has done it once more. And definitely, now these are your points, and these are your opportunities, ladies and gentlemen. Sprint in the end doesn't get a lap time, so Mamba does get to start ahead of Sprint, but for how long will he be able to do that? Only time will tell, but well done, ladies and gentlemen, as that is Cook then on pole with Eri in P2, followed by Liam in P3, then comes Leo and Joker completing out the top 5. A couple of drivers retiring. I believe they would have retired in the pits, and somebody's still running around. I think that is because a Alpine is in the pits, and that is coming to an end. And ladies and gentlemen, the man on your screen is there, and your pole sitter. He's second in the Drivers' Championship as well. Unfortunately falls short to Leo in the end. I couldn't win it, but takes pole by 200 of a second. 21 milliseconds. So Cook on pole, Eri in P2 with Liam, Leo, Joker, Eve, Willie and Power. Ben completing out the top 10, just outside were Mamba, Hay, Special, Harvey, and Sprint completing out the 15-car grid. And ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for the final dance and final round of this season, Season 5 OWLS Racing, and it is round 10 out of 10. It is out and about, ladies and gentlemen, and we are in for it. So we should be waiting for these drivers to simply get their cars ready, get their setups ready, and when everything is out and about, we'll go racing in no time. That there is no concept of a formation lap as we straight get into it already. It is going to be 5 lights out, and the lights were out for too long, and again the outside line driver slightly gets a better start this time around, though. No, it is going to be a good start for Cook in the end as the overlay is bugging out, but Cook currently leads ahead of Eri in P2, followed by Leo in P3. William is in P4, he showed up in P3. Meanwhile, Leo's going to go around the outside of Eri there and send it on the inside line. That's going to become, and the job has been done. Meanwhile, William at the back, and Eri's going to be spun round, and he's had problems already. Finds himself towards the wall, and damaged front wing for the Red Bull. And now look at that, this strategy. 35 laps of racing has to be 2 laps, unless somebody could pull it off, though. At Bahrain, tonight, I had drivers do over 21 laps on a set of hard compound tires, so anything to play for. It is only a couple of drivers, 2, 5, 6 drivers on a set of hards, everyone else on a set of mediums as it stands. Meanwhile, Sprint is going to lose out to Special out there as we're going to look at this moving forward. Mamba's going to try and get past Hay there and get an extra position for his team. Can he quite do it? Not quite, though, this time around. Is he going to go for it on the inside line? Not quite, though. Meanwhile, the 2 drivers are going to be there, and it is going to be the Alpine of Williams straight into the wall of champions. The 2 send it straight in, and obviously that was not going to be working at all, and that gets the job worse. Oh, that might... okay, that's one for special, for the collision with special, so definitely that might have been a different one, but it's not a safety car, it's a virtual safety car, ladies and gentlemen, out on track as our race leader is already 1.5 seconds ahead of Leo, but will that change soon? I think that might just change in the end. We're about to find out though, but that has to change obviously moving forward. So considering, I think still a long way to go as Mamba's got a drive-through penalty. Mamba has got a drive-through penalty and he'll have to work hard for it even more. Lap 2 out of 35, definitely the Constructors title could well go. I mean, he's definitely going to be going there to pay it. Meanwhile, Aries going to try and do a recovery, road to recovery around the outside of Power there. Can he get past? No, he can't so far. He might be in pressure of losing out in the position. Special there. Just exits out and better than the Red Bull, better than the Haas so far. But for how long is that going to be the case? We are yet to find out, and we haven't yet found out that. Meanwhile, there's going to be an opportunity. And Mamba's going to come into the pit straight away to pay this penalty. Obviously, we're not going to do the constructors calculations just about right now. Rather in the final final few laps. I think it's only right to do it then. Otherwise, it would just be. It won't be senseless, but it would just be. You know, there's no need of it. You know. Oh, there's going to be a driver, and that is Harvey on his own, sliding into the barriers. And this time around, it should be a safety car, but I wonder if it's going to be a safety car or a virtual one again. And a brilliant reason for at least everyone who hasn't pitted. I think it's only 2 laps in, so I doubt it if everyone will pit, but definitely the likes of Mamba, Hay, and William, who all of them have just now pitted. And he's not pit, and it's not been paid. Drive-through for Mamba has not been paid, so that is absolutely not so good, but definitely it's not a full safety car. It's a virtual safety car once more, and that is then, ladies and gentlemen, already we've lost out a driver. I'm not sure whether he collided with somebody or with the walls, because we just saw that he was heading towards that barrier on his own, that barrier that Charles Leclerc crashed at this year's Canadian Grand Prix. So definitely it's not really easy to drive around there for sure, but he got through a whole sprint, and then to crash in the race, something might have happened. Meanwhile, green flags are out once more, and this time around, Leo has gained up, and he's gaining time on Cook as it stands. 1.1 seconds, and not sure what is happening. All right, so it is already yellow still, and it is not green flags. It's just about green flags now, and this was the place, ladies and gentlemen, he crashed, and we're watching all of these drivers go through and get through out there. So Ben in P4, that is a very good jump. I wonder where did he start? You'd have to say 6 positions gained for him, 6 positions for special gained as well, 5 for sprint, round and about, and P10 at the moment. So job well done to him as it stands. Followed by the 6th position gain is special and Ben, and 2 for Power, and almost everyone. Leo's gained 2 as well, and everyone, somebody's gained not much, somebody has gained a 1 at least, or 2. So that is now interesting. The top 2 within 6 tenths of each other, with Liam 8 tenths behind Leo, as well as Eve as it stands. Now only 4 tenths, 3 tenths behind Ben. He's just going to be getting past Ben out there before the final chicane. He's going to be getting past. He's going to be past the RB through into P4, and a well done job, well done to Eve as it stands into the top 4 positions. Ben might try and come back at him in a little bit while, but it won't be too long. Possibly he'll try and come back at him, but definitely I think this is interesting now, seeing these guys who were pretty much not too bad, but at least down. At least the 2 RB drivers were slightly fighting in the bottom positions in the sprint. So definitely now going for it in this race has to be a highlight, has to be a performance. And now Mamba gets a 3-second time penalty. I think his race goes from bad to worst, you have to say. He first comes into the pits to pay the drive-through penalty. It might have not getting paid, and now he comes in once more. I think on the previous one he might have pitted, so might have not paid the drive-through penalty, but now, and he's retired. And he is retired in the pit lane. It has Mamba after getting a drive-through, after getting a 10-second penalty. after trying to pay the drive-through penalty. So that then explains as our race lead is going to be changing, and Cook is going to lead the Canadian Grand Prix, taking the lead at the end of lap 5, heading towards lap 6. So Leo now leads the Canadian Grand Prix with Liam Cook in P2 and Liam in P3. Could still change, but 11 points already, 12 points in fact. Oh, Joker's retired. Joker is now retired as well. So many more retirements than you would have thought in the Canadian Grand Prix. Only a couple of retirements in the sprint we had, but that was towards the very end as well, apart from Liam who crashed at the very beginning. So that is definitely somewhat of a thing as it stands, obviously. So in P11 as he's just about losing the position now. Obviously, he's retired out in the pit lane, so that's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, Power and Eve are going to be going for it once more. They're going to be at it. And the fight is still on between these drivers. Power could try and go for it on the inside line. Will he be doing that? No, this time. Meanwhile, it is an RB Rosendovich, but it's going to be going very wide. The McLaren driver slightly would have thought he's going to allow Power to get through, but no, he just doesn't have enough power to get past him. Meanwhile, Cook is going to be losing out to the Ferrari as well. There sure it was a DRS train, and in the end, he lost out the DRS to Liam. Could have just about allowed for Liam to overtake him as well, but Cook has now lost out another position with only one driver for Aston Martin to fight for, obviously, and now he's only scoring 15 points and only 3 points to what actually was the deficit into this race, and Liam scoring over 25 in that. So he's only 25, 37 points, and add the 2 of sprint as well, so that is 39 points. He's only scoring 3. I think at the moment he'd rather want one of the, at least sprint out of the points, but only with 12 drivers remaining, I doubt it's going to be possible now. With with the less amount of drivers there are, the easier it is for a sprint to score points. On top of that, Mamba is out of the race as well, so no option, no chance for him to really fight for that Constructors' Championship, obviously, as Mempi's going to be getting through, but now Power's going to try and come back at him on the exit. There is, he gets the better exit, and is going to get past the Mercedes and going to be through. Meanwhile, Special behind will have an opportunity as well. It's going to be hard tyre versus hard tyre. I don't think he's going to be close enough to be making the move, and the Mercedes driver goes defensive on the inside as well. He just defends that inside line for him to not get past. Meanwhile, Eve might have touched the wall, and it looks like he should have touched the wall, as now it's going to be 3 drivers trying to overtake him. One round the outside, the other round down the inside. Meanwhile, MP is going to be overtaken. Ben is going to be back to P4, and the Mercedes of MP is going to be there in between these drivers, with Power in P6, followed by Eve in P7. He was once fighting for P4, so that is now brilliant. Obviously, 8 laps in, the drivers are fighting each other, but it has to be managed. It has to be managed. Sure, on those on a set of hards will go a couple of laps. Meanwhile, MP is going to be getting past hards versus medium, so maybe medium tires now might just be running out of grip, and then that could you could say that obviously it would run out of grip, but in the end, and there is a driver making contact with the wall. Not quite sure who that was. I definitely heard some audio of it. The car hitting the wall. Meanwhile, there's going to be a fight, little one, between a Special and Eve out there. Eve's going to be through and get past Special. Meanwhile, Liam's going to try and send it on the inside line of Leo. And the Cook would love for that to happen. But definitely Leo's not the one to give up as well. He'll fight for everything, and he'll absolutely fight for it till the end. For that Constructors' Championship. He's got himself a title, and now he needs his team to get a title, and he'll be fighting for it and not believing at it at all. And job has been done. Lap 9 out of 39, this little fight is on. Meanwhile, the 2 RB teammates are going to be there with Power in P5 and then Ben in P6 as it stands. Job well done to these guys, so that has to be the best case scenario. Only 9 laps in. There's still a long way to the end of it, as there's going to be an opportunity for Liam to go for the inside line this time around, and he sends it there, and Leo spun round, and Cook's going to be through and into second place, and job is going to be done, as Leo now will need to recover out there. Definitely 2 into 1, especially into that final chicane. Doesn't never go good at all, and that explains it, as he's absolutely flying around there trying to get the job done. And Leo has been spun round, and I think he's gonna make Liam visit the steward's office after this race to look at things and what's gonna be happening. But it is interesting then, now the gap has been lost out 2.2 seconds. Still, Cook's only gonna be scoring only going to be scoring 18 points as compared to Leo's 12 and Leo's 15, and plus 12 is going to be 17 points, and 18 adding a sprint 1 point as well. So I think at this point, actually even just about 8. Oh, okay. In fact, but yes, in fact, they had 12 points on them. Obviously, we'll add the points overall, but 12 points. 14 points they had. And then Aston Martin, is there going to be an opportunity for the Mercedes driver? Yes, it will be, and gets the job done. Through goes MP, and will be done into P2, as others are pitting out there as well. Cook has pitted as well. His tires might have just given up, and that would have been the reason he decides to come into the pit lane and gets the job done. So Aston Martin, I believe, Cook won that sprint, and then in the end, it was not 2, but 1 point to they already had 14 points, so 14 minus 9. But I think 7 points were added by, yes indeed, 7 points were added by Leo as well. So into this race, it was 12 points lead to Williams. And definitely to the end, it'll be interesting to see. Strategies will play a big part. Who gets it better than the other? Who gets it better than one or the other? So soft tires are in. The top 4 have not pitted. Everyone else around has pitted out there, apart from, in fact, Ari has pitted as well. And everyone's going on to a set of hard compound tires. So possibly 15 laps on these set of hards. From here, you pitted, you possibly go till lap 25, 26, and then go on to a set of medium tires. I doubt anybody would dare to use the soft compound in this one, that's for sure. Meanwhile, Ben is within 5/10 of Eve might have hit the wall, because it was Eve earlier on as well when I saw. I heard that audio that somebody has clipped the wall out there as I smashed my mic with my hand. That's going to be Ben is going to be round the outside and through and ahead of Ari, who's on a set of medium tires, and he pitted very early into this race, and that explains. So penalties already in this race. Obviously, Canada, it's not as punishing as, let's say Austria, but obviously still punishing, and very punishing if you don't drive it with full focus. And a couple of areas, not one, but a couple of areas to invalidate your laps. So 12 laps in, we've done 24 laps overall, and still need to do about 23 from now. So that is interesting so far. And racing, there is a lot of racing action remains. So penalties, 3 seconds to each driver, apart from Hay, who's on 6 seconds. Everyone else on a set of 3 seconds of penalties at the moment then. So lap 12 out of 35 between these drivers. It's going strong so far. And obviously, everybody around at the top 4 hasn't pitted, but everybody around has pitted, and as soon as the pit stops come, it differentiates. But one man doesn't care about that, as he's going to be getting past the Red Bull of Eri. He's going to be through into P8 and gets the job done. So yeah, what I was talking about, basically, always you see that drivers are close, but it stabilizes. The pit stops stabilize. The pit stops really, like the gaps turn away. The race gets into A's in terms of, there's not many drivers fighting for it. And again, then they do 10-15 laps on these tires. They try and gain opportunities. They try and gain all the time that has been lost against these drivers. So right now, Liam leads, obviously with pit stops along with Sprint and the top 4 haven't pitted yet. So the net lead should go to Cook as it stands, but obviously Liam, who hasn't pitted but still leads the Canadian Grand Prix, does come into the pits on a set of hards. So obviously the hard tire runners, all of them have stayed out, and he just comes in about right now. 12 laps on a set of hards, so that is an interesting thing to see, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely have a look at that, as Leo has the fastest lap as well, so extra fastest lap point will be awarded to Leo as well. So, but I wonder if apologies, I mean, I might miss out on this one, but it's different in leagues, and in real life no formation lap points is awarded, but some leagues like to award that point, some leagues don't. And unfortunately, doing a multiple leagues in a day or in a week really doesn't have you remember that. But hopefully, so far, you guys have enjoyed all the battles, have enjoyed all the action, and not quite sure what happened, as the audio has completely disappeared. Not exactly sure what happened. We'll be back in a few secs. And there we go, we're back. Apologies about that. So somehow I did not press any buttons on the keyboard, but it decided to lower the game audio in OBS. So unfortunately that was the issue. It was, as already, but Special jumping into the pits now. Only 2 drivers ahead of him. Cook leads the Canadian Grand Prix with no penalty to his name as well. Should be in the comfort of his own so far. Definitely will be looking to make up a statement and win the final race of the season for Aston Martin, but definitely the Constructors' title, the title that as a team they would have liked to fight for, is still not theirs. It's still not gonna be theirs. 20 laps include after this one remain still in this race, so a lot remains, though, a lot to fight for, and I think anything could happen. It could be either Cook out of this one, or even Leo somehow finds anybody, and possibly, I think, yeah, like you'd rather think that Leo scores no points, or rather out of the race, would pretty much, possibly would only be an opportunity for Aston Martin to take the title. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think it's just what I think is going to be the case, considering the situation right now with points lead, and Leo obviously in Pete just right behind Cook as well. Going to be net lead as well, and the net P2 and 3. Meanwhile, Special and Eri are fighting as well, so that is nice. A lot of drivers in the mix. That has been a nice thing, as many drivers have fought for it for a moment. You thought he was going to be going for it, but no, he doesn't go for it and doesn't get past. And Cook, already before the top 2 could get out of the way, is right behind them, and I think one way you could think that's an advantage, that he's just closer to them, but that is a very big disadvantage, considering Leo is 1.8 seconds, and only for a few moments if he is to fight for and fight against them. And look at that. Oh, there's a safety car, and there is a safety car. Not exactly sure what has happened, but that is a safety car on lap 16, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Hay without a front wing, and that exactly has what happened. I doubt if he's collided with himself or went into somebody else around the track. He was fighting Special, so I wonder if Special has got any damage or missings of the front wing. Not so far. So definitely that explains about it. So now there's going to be interesting to see, and definitely it has to be brilliant for the top 2 of Power and MP, who did not pit, who did not make a pit stop, as now they will be having to get a brand new tires, fresher tires in this race. Sure, Leo's in there as well. Everybody's in apart from Cook, who prefers track position other than new tires. He thinks that track position is the way. Obviously 5 laps, and when they're going to be 6 laps out of the safety car, there's going to be many more laps they would have done on these on these hard tires as well. So their pit stop might just come early than others, but it'll be interesting to see. Now everybody should be pitted and will be pitted. Meanwhile, William and Hay will be heading into the pits as well in no time. So the job well done. Sprint continues on. He pitted. So safety car is out. We should maximum have lap 19 restart or even a lap 20 restart, which could be the case as well. So slowing things down and making the boring race interesting out here, which could be interesting as well. So I'll just be back in no time. I'll let you guys hear the engine sounds of the car for a lap just under the safety car, and we'll be back just in time. And there we go. So safety car still out, and we are back. Well, we're still going to pick it up when the safety car is in, which should be coming in this lap. So I think we should easily have a lap 20 restart, which is going to be a nice one to have for sure. And now 15 laps to the end of this, or rather 16 laps to the end of this one. It's going to be nice and easy. Let's hope that these drivers do make it easy for each other. And there we go then, it is ready, and we are ready to go racing. The safety car is in the pits. Cook leads from Eve, Bempy, Barber, Leo, Special, Liam and Ben all to go. Cook might have just went for it, and he has went for it already, as Harry gets a time penalty on the safety car restart. Into turn one, is Eve going to be going for it on the inside? No! to back out. So everybody in this race so far has pitted, but Cook and Eve are on older tyres as compared to everybody else. Slightly has a better exit. Better exit does MP, and on the brand new medium tyres, he's going to be able to get through. And yes, he does get past the McLaren. Or does he get past the McLaren? Yes, he does. And already it is going to be the power in that RB now around the outside of the McLaren as well. It is making it hard. He's making it hard for them. Meanwhile, through goes Leo between the two. He's not going to be through, in fact. He's going to be there again. 3 wide they all will be. And in the end, Power and nearly Eve. They're just going to be close. This was absolutely close. He could have nearly put Leo into the wall, and things could have been different in championship perspectives, but he just saves it enough and gets the job done. Meanwhile, Liam is going to be completely put up against the wall with Eve pushed into the wall around the outside. Not sure what Eve was doing, trying to go around the outside there, but Liam obviously might have not saw him or did not decide to give him space as well. But I think Liam would have rather hold up his line, at least that's what I think there. Meanwhile, Sprint and Eve are going to be fighting out there. I think Liam now has lost out a couple of positions, and the next car is William, who's going to be coming into the pit lane. I wonder if he's coming in to retire, because you would think that he's still 8 seconds down after pitting in. No, in fact, he's getting the front wing changed, and a brand new wing on the Alpine is going to be fitted, and the car is now out back on track. Is going to be a thing, as Liam is now going to be through without problems against Eve. It's going to be overtaking one McLaren. It's going to get past another McLaren as well in that Ferrari. Nice and easy. Meanwhile, Power now fighting with Special. Special's going to go for it on the inside line. It's going to get through and get past him. There's going to be an opportunity for Ben to come back at him. Yes, he does come back at him and gets the overtake done. But the DRS, in fact, is going to be on that RB as well. So that is interesting and definitely going to be a job. Meanwhile, Cook is coming into play. Cook's old tyres are coming in to the thing we were saying, as now his tyres would be looking not to play well, as another retirement in this race and another safety car comes into play. Just when Cook was overtaken by MP, who was on brand new medium compound tyres versus 11 lap old hard tyres. And I think now everyone, not only those who didn't, but everyone rather, would be looking for a pit stop and go onto a set of hards and then pit right. In fact, not pit, rather just go to the end of it. Now that's what I think would be in strategy if it is, and if anything is to go by right now. But I doubt what these drivers are actually going to be thinking about, considering the fact that still a lot is to play for in this race. Still a lot as it stands. I think Cook would rather actually be praying, thanking God that this safety car came out, because otherwise, being on older tyres, being on older hard tyres, as compared to the mediums, with one driver had already caught up to him, the others were going to catch up as well. I think it would have rather been horrendous, or at least he would have needed to pit in a couple of laps in no time. So I think right now he'd rather be wishing and thinking that that safety car came in. But now it's going to be interesting to see. MP comes in, and as I said, everyone should come in. Meanwhile, Leo continues on, does not pit, so he wants to continue on, and the advantage of these medium compound tires. Decent amount of drivers actually come in, as 4 drivers are now out of this race. Hey, Joker, Mamba and Harvey are all out of the final race of the season, and that is interesting, as drivers are going on to a set of intermediate tires, and that explains that somewhat rain could be on the way. Well, this might be very early, but if anything, any weather they've got, look at that, there's a lot of dark clouds around at the front, and I think if anything is to go by, it could be interesting to say the least. Look at that, up ahead and behind. If those dark clouds around are to shower on the track, it would be an opportunity for everyone. It would be an opportunity for those two drivers who've pitted for a set of intermediate tires to possibly come into play, but it's only a matter of time, because before the rains, what if it doesn't rain? What if it only rains enough for the dry tires to still be able to stay on track? Because raining is one thing, but the track getting wet is another. You cannot control the car nicely on those intermediate tires unless and until there is some water out on track, there is some rain on track, and the track is wet. So a lot goes into these and into play, but these drivers, I think, are going to be there. So that is interesting to say the least, what these drivers are going to be doing, but still a lot to play for. Over 10 laps now remain, and more drivers. Liam's into the pits and has went on to pit for a set of intermediate tires as well, and that explains, and that then in the end, ladies and gentlemen, opens up that there is more and more drivers are going to be on the way of possible go on to a set of intermediate compound tires. But strategy is going to be interesting, and strategy, ladies and gentlemen, plays a big part when it comes to especially these type of situations, where do you go onto a set of new tires of slicks, or do you go onto a set of new tires of hards? And that is interesting, but obviously things are yet to stabilize in terms of what if the rain comes. What are the slick tire drivers are going to do? Those special sprints. And Cook, who have now pitted on a set of hard tires after not pitting on the previous stops. So, or what about if the rain comes? Or what about if it doesn't come? You know, be it MP, be it Power, be it Liam, what are they gonna do? I mean, they would rather only pit. Oh, nearly goes to the back of the safety car. Nearly went to the back of the safety car, and I think that would be the reason, though. That would be the reason. All of those who haven't pitted, I think would possibly be, as now many drivers are now coming into the pit lane. And Cook is coming in as well, and definitely, as I said, those who pitted earlier on for a set of inters, they would be feeling good, but there's another thing to play. They would be on a set of inters, they would have the tires earlier than before, but we are all under the safety car, so they're only getting laps on those tires. They're only getting some wear of those tires. So when it comes to the end of the race, it'll be different. And now it is already raining. Rain is already on, and definitely that would have explained why the likes of Leo, Ari, Eve around did not want to pit then, because they wanted to probably see if is it going to rain. Is it going to rain enough? Obviously, you would say if there was 5 laps from now, maybe drivers would have liked to stay out, but 10 laps from here, I think they would be pitting and pitting soon for a set of inters. And the 4 drivers that we are currently on a set of slicks would be on a set of inters very soon. Safety car is now into the pit lane as our leader is on a sled of slick compound tires. Medium tires versus intermediate conditions. Who's going to be able to triumph the start? It is going to be the drivers on the slicks, as the intermediate tires yet need way more water on the track than it currently is, and that explains it. But look at one thing, many drivers, including Leo, has got a 3-second time penalty, and if any way Cook is there. Meanwhile, he's disqualified. He has been disqualified. And then knew that we never thought we were going to see a disqualification, to be fair. Out of the 15 starting, 5 have retired, 4 have retired. Pretty much some retired, some crashed, and 1 disqualifications as moves from these drivers are on the track, and 6 tenths only between Eve and MP3. Obviously 15 lap old hard tyres, as there's going to be an opportunity for Power to get through on MP around the outside. Both of them on a set of intermediate tyres. Who's going to be able to get past? Ooh, that was not a good exit at all, and that explains that it still looks to be pretty dry. It still looks to be very dry out on track. Eventually, actually, it's going to be interesting to see who gets the better straight. Is it Sprint? Is it Liam? In the end, has to be Liam. Sprint has to get him let past him. There is rain now. There is rain. The DRS is now disabled, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is your answer to it is raining, and there is rain. And I wonder what is Leo going to be doing around him. I mean, he's got nothing to lose, to say the least, because, ooh, that was close. That was close. But he needs these points, though. He's going to be scoring 25 points as compared to Cook's only 2 points. Rather, in this situation, he hasn't got anything to lose. You know, Cook is way down in B8, and the Constructors' title should be sealed as well. But obviously, he'll still try and stay in the race. He'll still try and be there, but rather maybe not, you know, not make it dramatic. Meanwhile, there's going to be drivers overtaking, and that's going to be Eve and MP3 overtaking Paver, and so will be Cook overtaking and getting past Sprint out there as well. And now all the intermediate tire runners are there. So DRS is disabled. That means there is rain, and definitely that explains it, as Eve goes very wide. Cook is unable. Oh, that was interestingly done. Cook is unable to get past him. He's now switching to the outside line and trying to get past the McLaren. Can he quite do it just right now? Because definitely that McLaren is making it very hard for the Aston Martin driver. No, he can't get past him. They were will to will. In the end, the McLaren at the inside line and gets the better entry out there. What about turn one? Is it going to be Cook? Is it going to be Eve? Or is it going to be anybody right behind them? He runs wide, he runs very, very wide, and is going to be running super wide, almost left off the circuit, as Ben's going to be through. Eve is going to be overtaken, but he's going to let Ben get past as well. So he's not going to be having it easy for Cook at all, and he's definitely struggling on these set of inters. And those who pitted for that on that first lap, Power and MP, for a set of inters, are in P3 and 4, only second, third best, and he's now going to be through on Airy as well, who's on 12 lap older hard tyres, and now only 3.5 seconds to Leo. It'll be interesting to see whether Leo gains time or loses time. Obviously, with the type of conditions there are, he has to do somewhat of a mega job to not lose time, but I think he's going to be losing that time in no time at all. Interesting, losing that time in no time. So that's a nice little situation. Meanwhile, Cook is now going to be trying to get past the RB, and he's going to be past the RB unless he tries to go for it on the inside line. No, he doesn't, and he gets the penalty, and Leo gets the penalty, and this is what we were talking about. He could go from bad to good to bad, and bad to worst. Cook at one position before this rain and the safety car would have looked like that it is not going to be much that he can do in this race, and a possible Constructors' title's gone. But now, coming into this race, 12 points. Now Cook in P4, he's going to be scoring 12 points, exactly what the Williams team is trailing by. I think he needs to win this race. He needs to take this victory if he has or wants his team to have a chance at the Constructors' title. And I think it'll be absolutely a mega job to do, even if he's able to do it, to get the Constructors' title and over 14 points. Against two cars. It'll be interesting to see. Meanwhile, he's get past Ari, and he's going to be through into P4 so far, but a possible opportunity for Ari to come back at him. Will he come back at him? No, he will not. In fact, he's gaining a lot of time, and now those points are 15. And as compared to the Williams team, they are scoring 3 points in this one, so that is exactly 15 points. So at the moment, they're equal on points as it stands. But this is going to be tricky, though, because Leo's gaining points. Leo is going to be gaining opportunities and looking after points for sure, because It doesn't matter that he needs to finish closer to Cook. He just needs enough points to outscore Cook, who's... Oh, that is interesting there as Alright, DRS is disabled. Was it enabled again? Because, not quite sure, because unless I read that sign wrong, which it said DRS disabled, it might have said DRS enabled after safety car, so... not quite sure, to be honest. Apologies if that was the case, but the DRS has now been disabled once more, and nobody, and the only two drivers on set of slicks, and definitely they are going to be finding it very difficult to survive, as Liam's going to go for it on the inside line. Ben's going to be through, and Ben's going to try and come back at him again, and it'll be an opportunity, but no, will not be able to get past. So at the moment, 4 points to 4 or 3 points. No, 4 points it should be to Leo. 6, 8, 10, yes. So 4 points to Leo at the moment. That's going to make it 16. One will be 17. And Cook at the moment is scoring 15 points. So still 2 points. The Williams team leads the Constructors' Championship by. He needs a lot. He needs one of those drivers, probably Leo, to be out of this race. Only chance for the Aston Martin team to have a chance at the victory, to have a chance for him to win it all, because otherwise it would be very, very tricky, but then also pretty damn difficult as well. There's going to be an opportunity now. These two are fighting for it, and definitely those conditions seem to be the case, as their track is now completely wet with the DRS disabled once more, and an opportunity between these drivers is going back and forth. And Cook, 2.4 seconds. I think possibly had he pitted for the first time on these inters, maybe things could have been different, but obviously as it stands, not at all, as Leo's now only 6 tenths behind Special as well, and definitely Ben and Liam and all three guys are all together. So if he just has enough speed to get past, he's going to be getting past. But look at this, Pava in P1 at the moment leads the Grand Prix, leads the Canadian Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a penalty though. Oh, Leo's got 13 seconds of penalties. So that is going to be the case. Leo's got 13 seconds of penalties. Sprint hasn't, but he's down in P10. So penalties will play a part. Still can't say much at all, as both Power and MP have gained 7 positions each from where they started. So it has to be a brilliant, difficult race to say the least. And definitely we could have ruled Liam out, but actually, it's just interesting. He's almost going to be getting past Ben out there in the next car after third. Especially, there's already 13 seconds, so eventually he's going to get minimum P7. So that is going to be about 6 points. It's going to be 12 plus 6 is already going to be 18 points, and will be enough and more than what Cook is scoring at this point. So definitely that is going to be dreams over, even with penalties. But Cook could get a victory though. Cook could end up winning. That it could be interesting though, because he could end up winning if he stays within 3 seconds of these drivers. As it stands, with the gap to the leader 5.6 seconds. So within 6 seconds of both the drivers. If he's just able to do that, he might just end up getting the victory. So that might, in the end, end up helping the Aston Martin teammate. Meanwhile, at the back, there is drivers fighting. But lap 33 out of 35 is still on. Our leader leads the Grand Prix by 2.9 seconds, but with a 3-second time penalty to his name. 3-second time penalty to his cards, which obviously will play a big part, but for how long, that is going to be a question to ask, and definitely time will tell. Lap 33 out of 35, that's going to be 34. Meanwhile, at the back, there is a little bit of a battle there. We would have thought maybe isn't going on, but it is. Oh, no, in fact, there is no battle. It's rather drivers, and still they're on hard tires. I think actually they would have 22 laps on these hards. It's crazy, even in dry conditions. Forget about the rain. So possibly, I think they would have I think the worst could really happen is them getting penalties. So I think he's cutting corners as well. So not only 10 drivers. Obviously, they know that points they're going to be getting. They're going to be getting anyways these points if they pit. If they don't pit, they'll be getting that as well. So that's the only way I think that they'd be thinking at this point. Thinking about not pitting. Meanwhile, it is now going to be interesting. 2 drivers only in this race who haven't got a penalty. It has to be quick and sprint so far. Everybody else has got a penalty, and definitely calculations will be done. We can't call it out straight away on whether how much or who's going to be the champion unless anybody watching does that, but it's not going to be the case so far. So lap 35, 4 out of 35 as it stands, which should be lap 34 at 5 soon as well in no time, with our race leader now making their way around the back straight as it stands. So 15 started. Hey, Joker, Mamba, Harvey and Williams are out of this one. Power leads ahead of MP with 3-second time penalty each, with Cook in P3 without a penalty to his name. Then comes Leo, Liam, Ben, special sprint without a penalty as well. Then Eri and Eve, the only 2 drivers driving on a set of slick tires, even in these wet conditions. And now it's getting very difficult for them to even keep it out on track. Special, you have to say, very impressive drives from him. He's improved throughout the season, has got the job well done, has done the job nice and easy throughout the season, and now he's very closer to Ben. There might be an opportunity for him to get past. That was very close for Special, and between Ben as well. It might well, be an opportunity for him to get past, or him to really be closer or away at the moment as it stands. So it's going to be interesting to the 2 drivers. For the bottom 3 are just entering lap 35 about right now. Meanwhile, our leader is away from it. He's just making their way around the back straight now, along with MP as well. The gap to Cook is 4.8 seconds, so that might as well will be getting an opportunity. It'll be interesting to see where does Leo finish and end up after penalties. It is going to be making his way around the final corner now. Power crossing the line first with penalties applied. He's going to cross the line first, and MP will cross the line second. Meanwhile, he's been overtaken. Meanwhile, Cook has been overtaken by Leo, and in the end, he has made a massive mistake, even after paying that penalty. It'll be interesting to see where does Leo end up, but what exactly happened, because definitely something has happened, and that has ruined Cook's chances of a victory. And definitely with that, the Constructors' title is going to be sealed, and it is going to Williams, with the driver's title already gone. Williams, Liam in P4, Leo in P5, Ben in P6 with Special in P7, followed by Sprint in P8. Then comes Eri and Eve in P9 and 8 so far. Those 3 are yet to cross the line. They are yet to, go across, complete over the line. So that is interesting, just to say the least. And I think it'll be interesting to see. So it will be getting the job done. So, oh, that is interesting at the back. These 2 are fighting each other in the end. And oh, that is interesting. Oh, they're fighting each other, and they've knocked off, and definitely that is for position at least. They're going to be getting 1 point each. That is not quite sure why one would do that in the end, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the end. And then Power gets the victory and wins the Canadian Grand Prix with MP and P2. Absolutely brilliant job done. Decent racing as well, and a good round to end racing. Almost 2 hours of racing around we've had, including qualifying, so that is interesting to see. Is now our race winner on the top of that podium, celebrating like no other time, and gets it done in the end. Unfortunately for Cook, he was looking he's going to be scoring, but so look at that. In the end, he gets 17 points. Sprint gets 4 points as well, so 17 points does get Leo. Overall, obviously Cook has a better weekend and gets over 23 points, but obviously before coming into this weekend, 14 points were to Williams, so definitely they're going to be taking the Constructors title as well. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the end of this one. So that is Power, who won the race and the Canadian GP, even with a 3-second penalty, along with MP, who finished in P2, with Cook in P3. Got a fastest lap in the end, though, but Liam in P4, followed by Leo in P5. Congratulations to Leo for the Drivers' Championship that he took last weekend, and the Williams team, who have taken the Constructors title this weekend. Ben in P6, with Ben special in P7, with Sprint in P8, part of the Constructors winning campaign, with Eri in P9, followed by Eve in P10, completing out the drivers. Then Hay, Joker, Mamba, Harvey and William all out of this race and were not able to finish at all. That's going to be the end then, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all watching enjoyed it. It was a 10-round season that comes to an end today. From OWLS Racing and all, it was myself, Zabi, to bring you, who brought you all the action throughout the season around here. So hope you all watching really enjoyed all of this action for Tier 1, Tier 2, wherever you had me on the mic. And it's the goodbye as the season comes to an end. It was myself, Zabi. Had fun commentating. Hope you all watching had fun in watching all of this action. And from all of us here at OWLS and the F1 community of OWLS Racing. And myself is Zabi, and I'm out. And that's going to be the end of it, ladies and gentlemen. Adios.